All right, let's talk about operators in JavaScript. Now, you're going to be familiar with a lot of these because a lot of these are just basic math operations, but there might be a couple ones you haven't seen. And there might be a little, syntax differences. But let's go ahead and look at our operators. So in JavaScript, we kind of have our basic operators. We can do math, that's the plus sign. We can do subtraction, that's our minus. We can do times with a asterisk. We can do division with a backslash. We can do what's called modulus, which is gives us the remainder of division. We do that with the percent sign. We can do exponents with 2 stars. We can assign a value to a variable and reassign it with the equal sign. We can check if something is equal to something in 2 ways. We can do the double equal. This checks to see if it is if the values are the same, and it ignores the type of data the values are. Or we can do triple equals, which checks the type as well. Let's see here. We can also check to see if something is not equal with the loose equality. We can check if something is not equal and do it with the strict equality. We can see if something is less than. We can we can see if something is greater than. We can see if something is less than or equal to. We can see if something is greater than or equal to. So these are some of our operators. There's more of a list, but let's just kind of look at this. And one thing that we can do when you're trying code is sometimes you want to just write some quick code. You can actually, in your terminal, you can type node. Now, all of a sudden, what this is going to allow me to do is this allows me to type JavaScript. So I can come in here and say like let age equals 21. And now I have that variable. So this is just a JavaScript console that I'm typing in. So I can do all of these expressions here. So I could say, hey, what is 1 plus 1? That's 2. What is 1 minus 1? That's 0. 2 times 2, 4. Let's spend a little more time on the modulus because that might be a little new. So like I said, modulus gives us the remainder of division. So if I do like 4 mod 4, there's 0. I could do 5 mod 4. That's going to be 1 because 4 divided by 5 is 1, but it has the remainder of 1. Let's just do 6 mod 4. This is going to be 2 because 4 goes into 6 one time with the remainder of 2. So you might be like, why'd you ever want to use this? I mean, it kind of comes up a lot. You might see this in a brain teaser. Hey, like determine if a number is odd or even. Well, how I could do that is I just mod the number by 2. If the remainder is 1, I know it's odd. If the remainder is 0, I know it's an even number. So that's kind of that use case. Yeah, and then we have our exponents. So I could say like 2, to the power of 4 is 16. So I can do exponents. All right. So some other things we have our, 3 equal. Let's do our equal sign. So first we have assignment. So I could say like let age equals 21. That's one equal sign. That's assigning a variable. Oh, I've already declared that. Let's do, like something like favorite food. Assign that to taco. So that's assignment. Then I can do, hey, I can check with 2 equal signs if something are equal. So 1 equals 1. But this also ignores the type. So I can see, hey, does the number 1 equal the string 1? And that is true. if I do triple equals, this is going to take into account the type as well. So if I do triple equals, this number 1 does not equal the string 1. And likewise, I can do a not equal. So 1 does not equal 1. I could say 1 does not equal the string 1. That is true because those are the same thing with the loose equality. But 1 does not equal string 1. That is true because now they're different types. So those are not equal. And yeah, just like with math, we can do, greater than and less than. So I could say, hey, it's 2 less than 3. That is true. Or I could say it's 3 greater than, 5, but that's false. Is 3 greater equal to or 3? That is true. So we have less than, greater than, less than, equal to. So those are our operators. I mean, there's a lot more. Let's just do this really quick. Let's assign a variable num equal to 0. I can do num equals num plus 1. That's just a way to add 1 to num. So now num is 1. There's a shorthand for this. I could say num plus plus. I type num, it's now 2. I could say, so plus plus is a quick way to add 1. I could say num plus equals 10. This would be a quick way to add 10 to my number. And I can do this with all of these operators. I can say num times equals 3. So that's going to take my num and times 3. Say num divide equals 2. Now that's 18. Num minus equals, what's 8? And that's 10. So I have these plus equals, times equals, divide equals, and that. Let's also just quickly, since we're going to go into conditionals next, let's talk about some conditional operators, just really briefly. So with conditionals, and you really know these intuitively, but let's talk about what they are really quickly. So we have 3 main operators. We have the and, we have or, and we have not. So and is 2 ampersands, or is 2 pipes, and not is a bang. So these are our logic operators. So what does that mean? Well, I can have some variable, like if I say like true and false. So for an and statement, both things have to be true for this to evaluate. So you can think of this is like a math operation. It's going to evaluate to 1 Boolean. So true and false, that is false. It's kind of the same thing if I were to say like, hey, my name is James, that's true. And I am 1,000 years old, that's false. Since it's an and statement, the whole statement is false because both things have to be true. And these can build, I can have more than 2, I can combine these, but with the ands, all of them have to be true for the whole thing to be true. There's also true, there's the or false. So this could be something like, I'm James and I'm an alien. Or I could say I'm James or I'm an alien. Like this is true because one of those, just one of them has to be true. And then there's the negation, there's the not. So I could say not true, which is just false, and not false is true. And those are our logic operators. I'm going to put a reference to this chart, which really goes over all of our the JavaScript operators. This can be a lot. One of the nice things about coding, I feel like, is you don't always have to remember everything, especially when you're learning stuff. So you can use references all the time. I know I very much do. So yeah. there's bitwise. We're not going to talk about the bitwise operators, but yeah, those are our JavaScript operators. So cool. And next we'll use these logic operators and some of these other ones and talk about conditions. So see you there.